Everyone knows the X-Men. It's one of Marvel's most successful franchises, and it's easy to see why. It deals with so many gray areas, racism, political corruption, and it actually celebrates being an outcast. It's one of my personal favorite series of comic books, though I have to be honest, I haven't been keeping up to date lately with my comic book knowledge, so how about a refresher course? LJN's X-Men for the NES. Yep, you heard me. That LJN. What was going through your head, Marvel? I'm serious, I want to know. Of all companies, LJN? That's like trusting a quadriplegic, epileptic monkey to construct a lightsaber while wearing a blindfold. No good can come of that situation. Why couldn't Marvel have just thought to themselves, let's just not give it to LJN? Get it? LJN? Let's just not? We got more of those deciphered acronyms coming. Let's just play the game already. Firstly, welcome to the most uninspired menu screen. And I thought Street Combat was bad. There's no visual guide for the stage selection. Well, that's creative. So we have to use our imaginations and trust the descriptions. Believe me, they all suck. This is also the most sensitive menu select cursor. Just the slightest tap of the select button sends the thing into overdrive. Look at this. What the fuck? I'm not even doing that. Holy shit! I have mutant powers! Oh, half my select buttons chewed off and stuck. Never mind. I can't lie, I'm kinda digging the music so far. How the fuck does Nightcrawler weigh almost 200 pounds? That's more than Cyclops and even Iceman, who turns into solid ice. Doesn't a somewhat large mass of ice relatively kinda weigh a lot? Whatever. Nightcrawler was always my favorite, so let's go, fat ass. Wow. Okay, first complaint. No health bars or anything. So how am I supposed to know if I'm about to die? Oh, that's how. You have to pause the game. Are you fucking serious? What other game in existence requires pausing gameplay to view your life bar? None. I'm pretty sure of it. I fucking hate this game with a passion. And what the fuck just killed me? Next complaint. I love how all 6 X-Men are just color palette swaps of each other. Fucking really? So, for example, Storm is the same height and bulk of Colossus. Wow, that is one buff butch bitch. Or is it Birdie from Street Fighter? Did they even try? Of course not, it's LJN. I answered my own question. So here's our next Let's Just Not. Let's just not make separate sprites for the player characters. You know, the X-Men, the fucking reason why people bought this fucking game. Nope, just make 6 of those sprites and paint them different. It'll take too long otherwise. Maybe nobody will notice. No individuality here. Isn't that the opposite of what the whole X-Men mythology is about? You know, accepting the individual qualities in all of us? Nope, not LJN. LJN ain't got time for that. I see the same lack of effort went into the X-Men's attacks. Look at how the close-range characters punch. Who the fuck punches like that? It has no range. It looks like the character sprite is just lunging forward. Makes me want to punch LJN in the balls. Okay, here we go to the caverns with Nightcrawler. Immediately dead. And how in the fuck was I supposed to know those were spikes? Worst texture palette ever. Bang up job you did, environment artist. Must have been the same guy who designed the enemies. Wow. Mice. I don't know what to say. Get it away, get it away. I am Colossus, I am girly man. I forgot to mention, I couldn't blackmail someone to play this with me, so lucky for me, the game forces you to bring a computer-controlled player with you. And just like the rest of the game, they suck. Look at that, Cyclops just died already. Smooth move, dickhead. What? This inanimate texture killed me! How the fuck does that make sense? It's not a spike pit. It's not an enemy. So what is it? What the fuck is that? It's a fucking brick. Why did it kill me? Why? No, I'm not being funny. What the fuck is that? My contempt for this game is so intense, it may be the reason why I fell out of comics for all these years. It traumatized me. Something this bad stays with you. Like an STD. Fuck it, let's just take a quick look at the other stages. Next is the Robo Factory. I'm gonna assume they intentionally left out a T at the end of Robo because everyone knows Robot Factory sounds so unhip. But since it's LJN, I'm not giving them that much credit. Which brings us to our next LJN. Let's just not follow sentence and word structure we all learned in 2nd grade. Whatever, moving on. Let's pick Nightcrawler again, and this time I'm gonna time how quick I get killed. Wow. Less than 2 seconds. Well, we already know that the short-range X-Men are useless in this game, so why make the character with the weakest stamina, health, and attack power a fucking close-range character? And why the fuck did it have to be Nightcrawler? Now that I think of it, he's the fastest character in the game, which only doubles your chances of flying all over the place on the map into enemies or fucking camouflage death trap textures. Come on, what the fuck? There is zero gameplay balance, zero. Nightcrawler is a broken character in an already shattered game. So, there's our next LJN. Let's just not give Nightcrawler a chance. Hahaha, we just need to fill up the roster to even it up, so just throw him in there. Don't bother to balance him out at this point. We already have the X-Men license. This plastic piece of shit already paid for itself. We can all retire now. Who gives a shit if young kids named Aaron dressed up as Nightcrawler in costumes their mums made for them for Halloween? Fucking assholes. Long enough of a tangent? Okay, we'll just shorten it and rephrase the LJN to Let's Jerk Off Nightcrawler. Yeah, I know, jerk off is technically 2 words, who cares? This game sure as shit doesn't. Random as hell, but what's the snake from Q*bert doing here? And dead. Okay, next stage. And no Nightcrawler, I learned my lesson. This time I'm going with Cyclops. Here, let's give the environment artist some more credit. I love the puckering butthole textures. Says a lot about this piece of shit. Literally. This is the best they could come up with for the X-Men license. The game's graphics are actually making me sick to my stomach. Look at this is absolutely disgusting. Seriously, what the hell am I looking at? It looks like entrails mixed with expired microwavable pasta that's been sitting on the reduced rack for months. Oh, and with buttholes. We can't forget about those. There you go. Chef Boyer butthole. Either that, or it looks like a fucking crime scene. Only we're the victims. This is without a doubt the ugliest game I have ever seen. Of all time. Just take a look back at what else the NES was capable of. And then we have this work of art. They do say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, Well, just how shit-faced does the Beholder have to be? Because I don't drink, so I'm really fucked. Or what if the Beholder is LJN? Does that old adage account for that? This game's ugliness would cause an actual Beholder to go blind and then fucking kill itself. Okay, back to the game. I just noticed some of the characters can jump by pressing the B button. But look at this. You can't move and jump at the same time. You can only jump in place, so that means no jumping over enemies or projectiles. Brilliant! LJN. Or should I say, logical jumping? Nope. Watch this. First, this laser field, or whatever the hell it is, has no pattern to it, so I'm doomed no matter what. Let's see what happens when I try to not jump over it. What fucking purpose does that useless jump serve? I'm talking to you, LJN. No wonder you're extinct. The maps are fucking guessing games on where to go next. And everything wants you fucking dead. The walls, unexplainable texture choices, and what the fuck? I don't think I'm sleeping tonight. Nightmares, impossibility, never-ending deaths. Sounds like a great time, huh? Fuck this! What the hell's going on? LJN kidnapped the X-Men, raped Nightcrawler. I'm being shit on. That's all. Shit on. You know what really pisses me off? Oh, wait, where you going? Where you going? Okay. Things aren't great, but they'll get better. Come on. Let's just not play this game anymore. Come on. Let's graduate to the Super Nintendo. Spider-Man and the X-Men in Arcade's Revenge. I'm speechless, so let's just get this shit show started. We begin as Spider-Man, who's swinging through the city, being creepy, spying on people, and notices there's a familiar garbage truck that's sucking up the X-Men. Turns out, it's the supervillain Arcade, who kidnaps superheroes and watches them torture themselves trying to escape his underground murder world. Kinda sounds familiar, doesn't it? Saw? Gotta give LJN props for selecting a slightly lesser-known supervillain. Don't tell anyone I said that. Right off the bat, I gotta comment on one thing. The music. It's actually really good. Don't tell anyone I said that either. Now that is some porno music. As I said, we start as Spider-Man. Pressing the X button performs his web swing, but you can't use it while jumping. Why the hell not? That is so stupid! Why does LJN have such a problem with jumping and performing other actions? After getting lost for like 5 minutes, I discover I'm supposed to grab these flashing toilets. Is that why Spider-Man's spider sense is pointing me to all of these? Because he has to drop a deuce? Just to be obnoxious, they're scattered all over the place and can only be retrieved when they're flashing, like I said. And of course, they never go off in close proximity, it's always the ones farthest from each other. Pain in the ass! Speaking of ass, there's that probe interrogation droid from Star Wars. Get it? Ass? Probe? Never mind. Jumping from wall to wall isn't as easy as it looks. It's like a cheap-ass attempt at the fluidity in Ninja Gaiden. Could Spider-Man climb any slower? Ryu has no fancy powers, but he sure as hell can go a lot faster. Come on, move your spider ass! You're lucky I'm even playing as you, I fucking hate spiders. So here's the captive X-Men, and it looks like Spider-Man is taking a leak right in front of them. That's indecent exposure, mister. Much better. Of course, no Nightcrawler. At least they have Gambit. I'd rather have no Nightcrawler than a fucking useless one. Wolverine looks pissed. I would be angry too if I had to have someone press a fucking button to make my claws come out. Why? I'm Wolverine. Of course I want my trademark weapon to always be at the ready. Such an unnecessary inconvenience. Each of the characters has their own set of levels. They're all somewhat interesting, but Gambits and Storms are about as fun as fucking a diarrhea attack at a concert. Yeah, it's happened. Wolverine's area is a funhouse filled with Kinky Pinky's friends from the porn store. What the fuck is that thing in the background? Horrifying! What the hell is LJN's obsession with chattering teeth? What are they, dentists? How did Arcade have the time, funding, and manpower to construct all these massive torture labyrinths? Maybe Dr. Wily helped them. Yeah, Wily was here, because there's Hardman from Mega Man 3. What kind of a name is Hardman anyway? Maybe Wily was experimenting a little. Never mind. I do have to say, I like how they gave Cyclops his old school outfit. I love the universal scream all the male characters share when they die. Gets old, huh? And guess what? Lose all your lives, and you get the privilege of starting that lame Spider-Man intro level all over again. Leave it to LJN to not only fuck up the X-Men, but Spider-Man too. Poor Stan Lee. I wish someone at Marvel stood up and said JSN to LJN. Just say no. Well, it took long enough, but someone must have. Remember what happened when Capcom made a few X-Men games? Here's one example. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Pure 16-bit gold. Fantastic visuals and music, responsive controls. It took a Japanese developer to give us good games based on American franchises. Hats off to Capcom. Great job. The game is hard as all hell, but there's a difference between challenging hard and bad programming hard. There's definitely a frustration factor, but it's still very entertaining. It's very rewarding, and you can actually feel yourself gaining more skill as you play throughout the game. Weird as hell password screen though. You have to scroll through each character's portrait. Pain in the ass! Well, enough of that, because why would I want to talk about a game I actually like? Before I departed, I wanted to do an enemy roll call. The only problem is I can't begin to describe them. But we can try. We got robot crab owls, horny blue and red jumping monkeys, millipedes, weird rolly blocky faces that look like they're made up of Duplos. Remember those things? You know you do. We also have probotectors from Contra. Just Google it. We've already seen Hardman and the goddamn mice. And surprise, surprise, fucking spiders. Sons of bitches. They had access to an almost limitless library of X-Men villains. Sauron, Mr. Sinister, the list goes on. Did the developers ever pick up a single X-Men comic book? Was Bryan Singer on the development team? The Capcom game is full of made-up enemies too, but at least they're cool as shit. But that might be just because that's an actually fun game to play. Well, I hope we've all learned a valuable lesson. Embrace the differences that make each one of us who we are. Except LJN. Avoid LJN like a $2 discounted hairy hobbit prostitute whore with leprosy. Fucking assholes.